Welcome to the Holy Sports Podcast NFL Wild Card Weekend Recap. It's your boy ABE from DET. And we got James once again.
I missed my cue.
From Ruthless Talk in the building to talk some NFL playoffs. But before we jump into the playoffs, there was a topic that you wanted to bring up. Go ahead. The floor is yours, James.
Yes, my man. So before I do say anything, man, would you mind? I know we have the clip as far as this situation is concerned. Do you mind rolling that clip for me, please?
Roll the clip.
Congratulations on your success, young man.
Thank you.
You hold your head up, all right? You guys have had a most magnificent season.
Thank you.
You did a great job out there today.
Appreciate
so you just hold your head up, okay?
Thank
and
you,
ladies and gentlemen, Duval, you the one, all right?
you,
you keep it going. We got another season, okay?
I appreciate
Take
it.
care and much continued success to you and the entire team.
Thank you, man.
Congratulations.
All right, man. So everybody just saw what transpired. This was obviously after, the Jacksonville Jaguars, they lost to the Buffalo Bills, right? Liam Cohen, you can obviously, the dude he feels some type of way, right? You can see it in his mannerisms. You can see it in his face. And now he's got to face the media to probably ask a bunch of redundant questions from everything as far as this game, right? Like, oh, why didn't you run this play, coach? What could have you done differently, coach? Do you think that this season was a success, coach? Right? All of the stuff that is, I guess, the system, right? We got to follow the system of what journalism is, right? And then you have this lady, again, I guess her name is Lynn Jones, right? Is her name. She's very well-known journalist in Jacksonville in that area, right? And she decided to do something different, to say, you know what, instead of me asking a redundant formulaic question that every single journalist or expert that they like to call themselves, right? She goes to say, hey, you know what? Keep your head up, right? Keep your head up. You did a great job. And as she should, right? Because you have a coach up there that has done tremendous this year, to say, hey, you know what? Thank you. And you did an amazing job this year for taking a team that I've covered, that I've been watching as a Jacksonville native, because we've sucked for the last decade, right? So thank you, right? And to say, keeping your head up and all of the things that she said, right? And ever since she said this, Abe, it's like journalists, experts, they just, this outroar of people like she's committed first-degree murder. It's unbelievable to me, right? To where, oh, well, it was nice to say, but, it wasn't the place for it. I don't give a shit. Excuse my language. I don't give a shit about it, man. I don't give a shit about the system, that it wasn't a place for it, right? Like, let me ask you this, everybody that is listening to this, right? What was going to be so important for you to ask that head coach that probably he already knows the answers to, or maybe just doesn't know the answers to, because again, the loss was still very fresh, still going through the growing pains from it, right? Whatever terminology you want to use. Like, what was going to be that important for you to tell him that she didn't take no more than maybe 20 seconds to say, hey, keep your head up. You did such a great job, because the franchise that you're running or you're coaching hasn't won shit in the last decade. What was going to be so, like, bro, the fact that we're going to spread a little bit of positivity, right? And listen, there's somebody like me, right, that covers professional wrestling, that covers sports. I'm all for valid criticism, right? I'm a sports fanatic. I love sports. I grew up as a sports fanatic. I was fortunate enough to play college baseball, all of that. But there's also a time to where we also got to understand that, like, there's just things in life that are just bigger than sports, right? And we sometimes need to pull back the blinders, right? To think that, oh, the system, right? To say, oh, we got to ask the hard-hitting questions, right? So that way, we can spread the headlines and for people to talk about the game and this and that and the other. And for 20 seconds, this woman decided to say, nah, screw that. I'm going to congratulate this coach for a tremendous season that he had. And the amount of backlash that she has gotten is absolutely ridiculous to say, oh, like she's freaking like she's no like she's no journalist. Who type of journalist this is, when she has plethora of credentials, extreme credentials that she's mentioned on another. I think she was interviewed just the very next day about it. Like, I mean, this is the world that we live in. And it's fucking ridiculous to where, like, what other question that could have been asked? Like, you know what was going to be asked, Abe? It's like, how do you feel about losing this game right now? Right? What did you say to Trevor Lawrence after he threw that interception to seal the game? Right? It's like, do you think that this season was a successful season, even though you got bound? Like all these stupid formulaic questions that I hear. Right. And it's just like nothing else, Abe, was going to be that important for you to tell that coach than what she said for only 15 to 20 seconds. That's it. It's not like she continued on for like over 30 seconds, 45 seconds, 60 seconds, 90 seconds. She said what she needed to say. She praised the coach, and you could see, again, the coach, you could see the smirk. You see that he appreciated. He genuinely appreciated the compliment. Right? And we move on, right? Just like a little compliment and we move on. And we want to freaking go after this woman like she's no expert, like she's no journalist, when her track record says otherwise, because she decided to say, you know what? Screw the system. Screw asking all the redundant, hard-hitting questions. I'm going to praise this head coach, Liam Cohen, who did also, again, I'll praise him as well. He did a tremendous job with this Jacksonville Jaguars team. And this woman was like, hey, thank you. Congratulations. You had a great season. Hold your head up because this team hasn't won shit in over a decade. And that's the bottom line, man. We live and we fricking move on. It's such odd behavior. It's such odd behavior. If you were somebody that is like, look, is being like, oh, well, that was nice, but it's no place for it. I don't care. I don't care if it wasn't the place for it, because sometimes, man, as big of a sports fanatic I am, there's things that are bigger than sports. And maybe just a little bit of positivity with everything going on in this world, won't hurt anybody. It won't fucking hurt anybody. Again, I apologize with my language, but it frustrates me. It frustrates me to where, like, we live in this world to where everything is so formatted, so formulaic. We got to go through the norm, right? Because this is what people do, and it is what it is. Like, no, I don't give a shit about that. You have a woman who, again, is a tremendous expert in her journalism. She's got the credentials to do it. And for 20 seconds, she just wants to praise the coach for doing such a great job. And we want to act like she's committed first-degree murder. Stop. Like, go outside, frickin' go do some way, because you didn't get your time. Right? Because there's a deadline time. Screw your deadline time. What question were you going to ask that was that important to tell the coach, right? Newsflash, we watched the game, right? We know that this Jacksonville Jaguars team, they're going to bring everybody back. The coach is going to be back. The roster's not really going to change much because they won 12 games this season. What was going to be that important? Tell me. Somebody tell me.
Absolutely nothing.
But that's America. But that's the world that we live in, though, bro. That's the world that we live in, that we are so... We live it. We have such odd behavior that legit, like 20 seconds of just a little bit of positivity, 20 seconds of just, yeah, you know what? People like to go this way, but I'm going to go the other way, Right. And she gets all this shit for it, man. So you know what? Shout out to her. Because I thought that was awesome. I thought it was great. I thought it was fantastic. There's times, guys, for valid criticism. There's times to be, hey, coach, like, what happened, man? Like, you got to do this better. You got to do that better. And I'm all for that, right? I'm all for that. I'm all asking for the hard-hitting questions when it's justified, when it is justified to do such. But for 20 seconds, all this woman wanted to do was to say her piece, and she did what she needed to do. And all these other journalists that wants to attack her, that wants to say, oh, like she 30 seconds to say no hard-hitting questions, right? We have a deadline here. This is not the place for it. Go fuck yourself. Seriously.
Exactly. Round of applause to Miss Lynn Jones. We salute you, ma'am.
Much love to her. Seriously.
We need more positivity like that in the world right now.
Absolutely,
I agree with you 1,000%.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. Again, shout out to her, man. Listen, I'm all for sometimes being harsh and being critical, man, but like I had no issue with what she said whatsoever, man. I thought it was great. I thought it was awesome. I thought it was a lovely moment. And again, man, if you're somebody that has an issue with it, man, like again, man, there's some sunshine outside. Like go freaking there's beautiful grass outside. Go touch it.
Go touch some grass. Well, that was a great segue to the game. Let's recap that game. Buffalo Bills get up over on the Jacksonville Jaguars 27-24. This was an incredible game. To me, there were no losers. I know Buffalo is moving on. Josh Allen's going to chase that Super Bowl with no Lamar Jackson, no Patrick Mahomes, but the Jacksonville Jaguars made a statement here today. They are the future of the NFL. They didn't even have their number 2 overall pick in Travis Hunter playing today. So just imagine the impact he could have made with just a 3-point difference. So yes, Miss Lynn was right 1000%. Jacksonville Jaguars need to keep their heads high. There is nothing to be disappointed about in this season. But how'd you feel about this game? Buffalo 27, Jacksonville 24.
Oh, man. All week, man, my gut was telling me that Buffalo was going to win this game. I came on here, Abe, and talked about it like I don't see how Josh Allen doesn't walk away with this victory. And then at the very last second on my platform, I said, you know what, man? The Buffalo Bills, man, their team as a whole is so fraudulent. The Jacksonville Jaguars are the hot team, right? They got the hot streak going. They got all the momentum in the world going into the playoffs, man. And then like, it was going to come down to if Josh Allen had the ball in his hands in the very last possession of the game, you knew exactly what the result was going to be. It was a great game as I knew it was going to be. But man, I should have went with my first gut instinct with this, man. So where again, and maybe that's me being a stubborn Jets fan to be like, you know what, screw Buffalo. And then Sean McDermott's going to be freaking out of a job and in the unemployment line. Right. But look, man, we talk about, again, experience. We talk about the fact with Josh Allen and the fact that, there's no Lamar Jackson, no Patrick Mahomes, no Joe Burrow. He's probably the best quarterback out of this entire playing field of what started in these playoffs and what's left of it. But also the urgency. You can see that the urgency was there from the coaching staff to Josh Allen himself. The urgency to just for everybody to click, especially on the offensive side of the ball. The defense, they still got some issues that they need to fix, but this result does not shock me. And my gut feeling, and we'll probably maybe get into it again, maybe later on or maybe down the road, but I don't know, man. Buffalo, that win might have just really taken them honestly to break the glass ceiling at some point. And I'll just leave it at that. So
Definitely. Damn good game. Next up, Chicago Bears get the win over the Green Bay Packers 27-31. Now, a mentor of mine said, stop being a homer. He heard me say, fuck both of these teams because I'm a Lions fan. So I'm still going to say fuck both of these teams, but I will meet you halfway and I will give you this. Caleb Williams is him. In Spanish, he would be Hemerando. He is Timothy Hemerson. This guy is it. And my Lions got a serious test to contain him next year, even though we beat him 2 times this year. With all of this confidence from the playoffs this year, it's going to be an even better Caleb next year. I mean, he was absolutely incredible. I could talk about a million things during this game, but I just wanted to pinpoint Caleb Williams. I know sometimes I use my bias of NFC North competition, but he's him. He is one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL after last night in my book. When he scrambled, the creation that he has getting outside of the pocket to extend the play. Some of those dimes, I don't think there were any other quarterbacks who could have made that play but him. So hats off to Ben Johnson. He got himself a quarterback over there in Chicago, and don't be surprised if they end up going all the way to the dance. But how'd you feel about this one? Chicago getting the win over Green Bay, James?
Yeah, and I mean, you hit the nail on the head with Caleb Williams, man. I mean, this dude continues to move the envelope for what he's able to do, throwing in the pocket and outside the pocket, making plays. He's been tremendous, man. He really, they call him, I think, what do they call him? The Iceman, right? He's the Iceman. He's the Iceman for a reason. He proved it this past Saturday. And again, the thing about the Chicago Bears, man, it's like, we kind of had a feeling that how this game was going to go kind of went to where Chicago got off to a very, very slow start. Green Bay, they took it to them in the very first half of this game. That defense is an issue, man. They really got to pick it up on the defensive side of the ball. But again, man, the one thing that they do very well, though, is force turnovers. And who knows, when it comes to another said team that we're going to get into earlier, has had some issues with turning the ball over. So that maybe could work in their favor for the next divisional round. But look, man, the Bears, listen, man, they've been doing this all year long, and nothing that happened this past Saturday shocks me. The Green Bay Packers, again, man, I truly feel like also Micah Parsons and his absence was a huge detriment to that team. Massive detriment. People are also thinking that Matt LaFleur might be out of a job. I think Matt LaFleur is going to be fine. Again, I think it would be stupid for Green Bay to get rid of him as far as that is concerned. As I guess coaches, if we're talking coaches to be on the hot seat, I think Matt LaFleur is going to be just fine. But Ben Johnson, man, shout out to him. I don't know, Abe, if you saw this, but like after the game was over, he did like this quick little handshake, but it was just like, it was just like, go fuck yourself. And he just, it was kind of one of those freaking handshakes. I love it, man. Here's the reason why I love it, right? It's just like, you could say, he's arrogant, right? I don't like his attitude, but he even said it himself. Like it's a rivalry. Right.
Exactly.
It's a rivalry. Like, again, man, when you step in between those lines, and maybe this is coming from me again, that's played competitive sports, right? That's played baseball, that, kind of has been in that environment. Like, once you step in between those lines, man, like, bro, like you're there to win. You're there to win the game and beat your opponent, man. So, in the fact, because of how hostile that rivalry is, man, I freaking love it. It's like when you're the coach, it's like, dude, it's like this is a franchise that has been like you can argue the little brother to the Green Bay Packers. That's been an historic franchise for years. And then on the biggest stage in a wild card playoff game, they finally kind of overcame that obstacle. It was almost like a moral victory in a way, to where we all thought history might have had a chance to repeat itself, to where when it's all said and done, the Green Bay Packers are always going to beat the Chicago Bears. They're always going to surpass them, but not this year, man, because you've got a really good head coach in Ben Johnson. I really like what he's doing, and also bringing the best out of Caleb Williams, to where Caleb Williams and how he's able to run this offense is doing a tremendous job. The only thing that is stopping this Chicago Bears team is their defense. If they can find a way to make adjustments, and also not getting off to slow starts, because the team that you are going to face in this divisional round, if you get off to a slow start the way that you did, that comeback in the fourth quarter may not happen once you get there. So they really got to do a better job of really coming out of the gates hot, because eventually that could go against them at some point, depending on who they face. But I love this Bears team. I'm rooting for them, just like my New York Jets. They haven't won shit in years. So right. I really am rooting for them as far as this next matchup in the divisional round. But this was a really good game, and shout out to Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson, man. They got something special there.
Definitely. Somebody else who got something special. That Houston Texan defense is absolutely incredible. They say defense wins championships. You just might see these guys hosting up the Lombardi Trophy at the end of the year. The performance that they put on yesterday was absolutely incredible, defeating the Pittsburgh Steelers 30-6. Some people say this score was deceiving because they caught on late. Yes, a lot of these points came in the fourth quarter, late in the fourth quarter. Then it got out of hand. But let's not forget that C.J. Stroud turned the ball over 3 times uncharacteristically, which gave them a chance to stay in the game. So I do think this was actually a blowout. If you're really looking at this game, C.J. Stroud, the 2 fumbles, the interceptions, he gave them every chance to win this game, and they couldn't. A lot of people saying, let's get rid of Mike Tomlin. Aaron Rodgers is gone. I'm sort of agreeing. If Aaron Rodgers leaves, I don't think this organization has the time to rebuild with a new quarterback. They got a lot of expiring contracts. It may be the perfect scenario, the perfect time. I'm not saying fire Mike Tomlin, because he deserves all the respect in the world, but let's part ways. Let him go find somebody else. You guys go on the rebuilding process and move on if Aaron Rodgers doesn't come back. Now, if he chooses to come back one more year, keep them together, let them retire or separate together. But This was a good game, and CJ Stroud and that Houston Texan defense showed that they are a serious threat here in the NFL playoffs. How'd you feel about this one, James?
What did I say last time? There's death, taxes, and the Steelers having a first round exit, and then that's kind of just what happened, honestly.
Right.
I guess I'll start with the Houston Texans, man. Listen, man, this defense is legit. I mean, honestly, the fact that the Texans defense scored more points than Pittsburgh's offense tells you everything that you need to know about how they are and how just elite this defense is. Eventually, as good as Houston's defense is, CJ Stroud definitely has to play better, right? As the further you go along in these playoffs, man, you can't rely on this defense to pretty much do everything. You're going to have to limit those turnovers, right? Guys like Nick Chubb and others are going to have to run the football efficiently. Nico Collins, I believe, is dealing with an injury, and now he's questionable for the next round. So that also could really play a part as far as their next round matchup against their opponent, which we'll get into later. But and the Pittsburgh Steelers, man, look, Mike Tomlin, I actually like Mike Tomlin. Listen, if Aaron Glenn wasn't the head coach for our team, I'd take Mike Tomlin in a heartbeat. But I do think it is time for the Pittsburgh Steelers to move on, for it to be this long, for you to not have a playoff victory under your belt, for it to be this long, man. Like something has to give. If John Harbaugh is going to be shown the door in Baltimore, there's no reason why Mike Tomlin can't be shown the door at this point. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then with Aaron Rodgers, let me get to him, and I'll kind of end it with this, man. Listen, Aaron Rodgers, everything about this game, I expect what was going to happen as far as the defense, the Texans defense. Like, ain't no way he was going to move the football and make adjustments from facing Baltimore's defense compared to that defense. And I don't know, man. I mean, I'm going to ask you this question, Abe, if you don't mind. Like, do you think that we just witnessed Aaron Rodgers' final game? Because I'm starting to lean towards that we might just have seen Aaron Rodgers play his last game. But
I definitely think so. The way their salary cap is set up, they're going to lose some key pieces that he's not going to want to go into a rebuilding stage. Yeah. This was the time. This was the year. All the chips were put into the middle of the table. So, yes, I think this is it for him. He knows it, too.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that, too. And listen, and much love to Aaron Rodgers, even though it didn't work out in New York, but much love to him. And again, I'm not even going to get into that whole garbage, but shout out to him. And he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, obviously. Easily a first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, with all the accolades that he has, what he's accomplished and everything. So yeah, I mean, again, I think, we've seen this with a lot with players who sometimes, and it's common, right? It's the spirit of competition, right? You still feel like you got something, right? You could still sling it. You could still move your feet. You could still hang with the youngins, right? And sometimes the further you go along with your career, sometimes that could be a detriment, to your company. We see that a lot, even when we talk about professional wrestling. We see that a lot in wrestlers who try to wrestle in their late 40s, early 50s, and you could see just how there's just nothing left, and that same goes in sports, to where even though Aaron Rodgers, yes, at 41 years old, to where, yes, he can still sling it. He could still throw it maybe 70, 80 yards, but the dude can't move. And as far as just not being as efficient as he used to be, in his true prime with Green Bay and such, then I think this is the perfect time to be like, hey, listen, man, you took the Pittsburgh Steelers to a playoff run, and you went up against a young, hungry Houston Texans defense. Now it's just all right, man, I think it's time for me to go. So I think that, and I think it probably will happen.
Definitely. Quick shout out to Zombie 2 Queen, the J Music 6657, Soto 619, King Jody, and Zay Loves Alexis. We appreciate all you guys. Can't get to the comments. We're trying to just shoot through these recaps, but I appreciate all you guys joining us. If you want your comment on the screen, jump over to YouTube, and I'll make sure to post it on there. But next game we get going will be the Los Angeles Rams versus the Carolina Panthers. This game was everything that it was supposed to be, down to the wire. Last drive of the game, but what it also showed was what I told in the pre-show. would show, and that is the fact that Matthew Stafford is the unanimous MVP this year. He kept his team together. A lot of people don't know he had a hand injury early in the first quarter. He fought through it, did what he needed to do. When the Panthers scored late, I remember, if you go to my recaps, you can hear me saying, you left too much time on the clock for Matthew Stafford. I'm a Lions fan. I grew up watching this guy drive him down the field with Calvin Johnson. I know what he's capable of, and he did just that. Shout out Matthew Stafford. Incredible MVP performance. I'm pretty sure he locked that up last night with that game. But Rams get the job done, 34-31 over the Panthers, who are another young team, just like the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're going to be a threat next year, but this year just is not their year. James, how'd you feel about this one?
Yeah, I mean, listen, shout out to Carolina. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina, so it was very I was actually rooting very heavily for Carolina to somehow maybe pull this off. And again, I kept trying to tell people, Abe, like everybody thought that the Rams were going to blow them out. This was not going to be any close. And I kept telling people, man, like, don't be so sure, man. I'm like, I think again, winning outright, I didn't think they were going to win outright, but keeping it close. And I think again, they were minus 10.5 point underdogs. And they covered as I expect they were going to. I knew they were going to be competitive. I knew that the crowd was going to get loud, and that was going to be a major factor. Obviously, maybe you could say the weather conditions too was a little bit cloudy, rainy, wet, whatever. Maybe the weather conditions, the environment had something to do with it. But this was a moral victory, I guess you can say, for the Carolina Panthers, right? A team that, again, came into this tournament below 500. And, nobody gave them a shot. It's like a little Rudy story. Right? It's like little Rudy, to where like nobody gives this dude a shot. Nobody wants to even look his way. The Rams are going to win this game. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Can we all agree the Rams are going to win? Okay. We don't even need to talk about this game, right? It's like one of those little cute little stories. That's pretty much what it was. Bryce Young, man, shout out to him. I truly think that the Carolina Panthers found their franchise quarterback. I truly do, man. I think as he gets older, and again, I know his size is definitely a disadvantage for him, man, but in that game, man, like that dude shows you that there's something there. He's not been consistent, but he's shown you plethora of times like there is something there that you can work with moving forward. So I do think that the Carolina Panthers have their quarterback. I definitely think they have really good pieces moving forward. McMillan, who's a tremendous wide receiver, he also made some really nice plays. Coker, who made a nice touchdown catch, made some really nice plays. And for the Rams, man, again, Stafford was great. Again, it came down to the very last possession. You knew when the Rams had time left on the clock and they had a chance to go down the field, you knew what was going to happen. Pretty much the MVP was going to do what he did best, and he was going to lead that team with that offense down the field, and they were going to score, and they were going to take the lead and win this game. But I don't know, man. There's something about the Los Angeles Rams that has me very, very concerned if I were to be a Rams fan, right? The fact that they're not as efficient since that whole entire fiasco against Seattle, just a couple weeks ago. I think that was a Thursday night football game, right? Again, they won the game and they did what they had to do. But you can see, man, the Rams, they're not unbeatable. There's a lot of vulnerability there. I can speak as far as this team is concerned. And now you're going into Chicago, man. Again, man, like I mentioned earlier, a team that does very well forcing or turning over the football. They do a very, very good job at that, man. So they have to be careful, right? They played very conservatively, I thought, running the football a lot in the first half. And then that's when the second half, they really start to be like, all right, it's like, we didn't expect Carolina, I guess, to be in this game less than 10 points, but here we are. And then that's when, of course, they relied on Matthew Stafford throwing the football and everything. But listen, they got the star power. They got everything that they need to do to go far. But I don't know, man. Like, there's a lot of hiccups that I'm seeing from the Rams, and this is why I thought the Carolina Panthers were at least going to cover and at least keep it close. There's a lot of hiccups within this team, so I wouldn't be so sure to say that the Rams are going to win it all this year. I still think that there's a lot of things they need to clean up and fix fast, because if not, they could get bounced out sooner rather than later at some point. But that's just me.
I do agree with you 1,000%. But speaking of bounced out, one thing that is for certain about these playoffs is there will be a new Super Bowl champion as the San Francisco 49ers pull off the upset, defeating the Philadelphia Eagles 23-19. This game showed all the holes that we've been seeing through Philadelphia this entire year. And everybody wanted to say, wait till playoff time. Wait, what we hear. And the same holes throughout the regular season showed, if not even brighter. But A.J. Brown and the coach getting into it, him dropping that pass, I want to be the guy. Throw the ball to me. Well, they did, you dummy, and you dropped it.
Yeah.
So this was just, Saquon Barkley was nowhere to be seen. He did somewhat of a decent job, but not enough. Not from the year before, jumping over people backwards. It was not that miraculous run. This was a much needed loss for the Philadelphia Eagles. They need to regroup. They need to figure out their roster. There's clearly some camaraderie issues going on in that locker room, and they've got to figure it out. But I just want to say shout out to Brock Purdy. A lot of people call him that quarterback who just doesn't get the props, who just, he's just there in a great system. No, he's a great quarterback in a great system, and he showed that yesterday. They were missing almost their entire starting defense, and they still got the job done. Kittles goes down with an Achilles injury. He still moves the ball down the field. Last pick in the NFL draft or not, Brock Purdy is a top 10 quarterback in this league right now, and he showed it last night. Congratulations to the NFL Coach of the Year for the San Francisco 49ers, because just like Matt Stafford won the MVP, I feel like Shanahan won Coach of the Year last night as well. So damn good showing by the 49ers. Now, will they pull it off again next week? I don't think so. But, hey, it's been a damn good ride. James, how'd you feel about this one?
I mean, I guess I'm shocked, but I'm also not shocked from everything that you kind of just pointed out, to where even though, like, and I mentioned it even on my platform about all the issues going on with the Eagles right now, I'm like, you know what? It's like they're the defending champs. Like, you give them, I guess, somewhat the benefit of the doubt because of all the injuries, not the fact that San Francisco is not a talented football team, and not the fact that Brock Purdy is not a talented quarterback, because he is a very talented quarterback. It's just, again, man, I thought, going into it, the injuries were finally catching up to them. And then who knows, again, against Seattle, maybe that's going to be the week that it finally does. But yeah, man, Philly has a lot of issues right now. And you saw it kind of progress and really start to evolve bigger and bigger as the season went on. But again, there was still, at least for me, there was a little bit of that thought in the back of your mind to be like, you know what, there's a lot of talent on this team. They're still going to find a way, at least at home in this game, maybe not winning the entire thing, but at least at home, they were going to win this game. And again, without A.J. Brown having butterfingers and dropping that pass late in the fourth quarter, who knows as far as what the result was going to be. And I have a hot take here, Abe, as far as this situation with AJ Brown, right? Because it's crazy how, like, this dude is clearly unhappy. I mean, he's not happy with where he's at being on this team. He can't. I mean, I don't know what the relationship is with Coach Nick Sirianni. Like, there's some sort of disconnect there. I have a hot take, man. I honestly don't believe that AJ Brown is going. Maybe it's not a hot take. I don't think AJ Brown's going to be a Philadelphia Eagle next year. And I honestly think he's probably going to go, this might be the hot take here, he's going to go to New England to play with Mike Vrabel probably again. I really, truly do. I really think that if AJ Brown, if he wants to be happy, quote unquote, and maybe getting all the touches and all that. I mean, you got Stephon Diggs over there. So if you're not happy with not getting the ball as much as you want to, then, I don't know how much more happy you'd be with Stephon Diggs on your team. But still, I mean, if you want to go to a team that's still a very worthy contender, somebody that A.J. Brown has a really good relationship with, it's with Mike Vrabel in New England. The only other team that I could think of, probably Buffalo. And that sucks for me. And of course, that would happen for me and my New York Jets, because now not only do I have to frickin' deal with Drake May, who's having an MVP caliber year, and he's about to dominate that freaking division for the next 5 to 10 years. Not only do I got to freaking worry about Sean McDermott and Mike Vrabel now being in our freaking division, now in comes freaking AJ Brown and his freaking weird self about not his whatever terminology you want to use about AJ Brown. Damn good football player. But another dude, a well-talented, well-rounded player that's going to come into this division, and they're just going to make the New York Jets just, the gum underneath everybody's shoe. That's neither here or there. But yeah, man, I do feel like AJ Brown is pretty much out of there. I think he's going to find a loophole, no matter what that is. Maybe the Eagles, they'll also try to find a loophole to get him out, but something has to give. And I think it has to start with the toxicity that involves the centerpiece of it. That's AJ Brown. And I think that once you get that part of it done, then maybe you can go somewhere. Saquon, yeah, he didn't have a great season. Jalen Hurts, I don't mind Jalen Hurts, man. Listen, people say like, oh, he's, like all the talent that he has around him and everything. Listen, Jalen Hurts is a fine quarterback. And obviously, they're not, he's going to be their guy for the foreseeable future, obviously. But yeah, for a team that still had very high expectations to go to the playoffs and do damage, and for you to get bounced out like that to a 49ers team that is very banged up, a team that you not too long ago, you bounced out of the NFC Championship game and absolutely took them to the woodshed. Yeah, there's going to have to be some reinforcements and there's going to have to be some adjustments being made for sure. But shout out to the 49ers too. George Kittle, that was a devastating injury, man. Much love to him. That was really devastating. That Achilles injuries, man, are no joke, man, honestly. For the 49ers, man, listen, they got some magic going. I don't know what it is, man, but again, it's just, I've been acknowledging this all year. Like even playing first, third, fourth stringers on defense, all of this stuff, man, like they are still able to overcome it and be in the picture, to be
They're the Cinderella team this year.
Yeah, seriously. And now you go up against the Seattle Seahawks team, and yeah, the Dak is really stacked up against you, man, but there's one thing about the NFL. There's one thing about sports, man. You need a really good story. And I wouldn't be shocked if it's the 49ers. It's going to be that Cinderella story that could take them all the way. But time will only tell. Yeah.
Shout out Zombie Too Clean. He had a great take. AJ Brown to the Ravens. They don't have a true number one. That would be incredible, Zombie. Yeah, that'd be a damn good fit also.
I can see that too.
Last game of the damn wild card weekend to talk about will be the New England Patriots getting the win over the Los Angeles Chargers. This was what I call a field goal fiasco. Fiesta. I can't even get my words out. A field goal fiesta today during this game. There was back and forth a little bit on defense, I should say, but halfway through, the Patriots just really took control of the game. Both defenses were solid, showed out. That's why it was low scoring, 16-3. Like I said, Drake May is absolutely incredible. That defense is firing on all cylinders. When defense wins championships, and if you can get the offense to play half as good as that defense, you'll win yourself a Super Bowl. And I think that's what the New England Patriots are set up to do. When I was looking at all these games, nobody really stood out to me as an absolute complete team except for the New England Patriots. They got the coaching. They got veterans and like Diggs back there leading the receiving core. Drake May, is he young? Yes, he is. But sometimes you need that young, healthy spark. There were some scrambles that I didn't think the Chargers were expecting Drake May to pull it off. That young, you don't have enough tape on him. You know what I mean? So that's a good thing right now. You don't know his tendencies and things that he likes to do and don't do. So there's a surprise right there. But New England Patriots, they look absolutely incredible. Those golden years with Brady, those fans miss those days, but the Drake May days have arrived. Incredible game. How'd you feel about the Patriots getting the win over the Chargers?
Yeah, this did not surprise me at all. I think most of us kind of, I guess you could say, predicted this outcome, that this would happen. The Patriots, say what you want about, again, their schedule, how they have a soft schedule, right? They haven't really played anything or done anything, man. But like, they kind of honestly shut that down against a really good Chargers defense in this game. I didn't watch much of this game, so I can't speak about everything on this game, but listen, man, the Patriots, man, they are for real. As much as it pains me to say, they are a for real team. They got, again, a really good, young, hungry quarterback that's got all the pieces around him to succeed. Like you said, veterans around this team. But most importantly, man, again, is the head coach, is Mike Vrabel, man. This is a dude who's been here before. He's done this before. And I think, after what happened in Tennessee years ago, I think that he's also got a massive chip on his shoulder with now a much better roster than what he had even in Tennessee. I think there's a lot of pent up pent up motivation, I guess, if you want to say that, as far as that is concerned. Are they world beaters though? No, I mean they're very beatable. I mean, you saw again, even on the first possession or two of this games where the Chargers were able to get a turnover. And that's where I get to the Chargers here, man. Listen, the Chargers, here's on Justin Herbert. Let me get to him, man. Like, I get it. The offensive line is not good. It's not good at all. I mean, this dude was sacked, what, 5 or 6 times, I think, in this game, right? But here's what I'll say, man, right? Joe Burrow, when Joe Burrow came this close to winning a Super Bowl, losing to the Rams, this was back, I think, in 2022, right? Offensive line was not very good. Didn't matter for Joe Burrow.
Mm-hmm.
And now with Justin Herbert, it's just like, all right, we can point the finger at the offensive line, but when do we also point the finger at Justin Herbert? So we're like, all right, dude, like, listen, like, now you've been in this league now for long enough. We know the talent that you have. You've got a great arm. You can move out of the pocket. You can throw inside the pocket. You can do all of these great things, man. But at some point, man, you got to start. You got to start overcoming the odds. You got to start making adjustments as far as what the environment, what the NFL, and what these other opponents throw at you at some point. You know, because like I said, Joe Burrow, he was able to overcome it and bring his team to a Super Bowl years ago. And now it's the same situation kind of with Justin Herbert. And honestly, no adjustments are being made, you know, and that's just what concerns me about the Chargers moving forward with Justin Herbert. I'm not saying get rid of him. I'm not saying like completely go into a different direction, but there's got to be a little bit of concern with the amount of time that Justin Herbert now has had in this league, to where he's being put on a pedestal as one of the best talented quarterbacks in this league, and yet he's still not being able to get a playoff victory under his belt. It's pretty concerning. So we'll see, man. Again, I know he had a busted hand and everything, right, and all of that stuff, but I think there still has to be a little bit of accountability for Justin Herbert, as because he is, again, as the quarterback, like, you are the foundation of the team. Like, it starts and it ends with you. So again, we'll see as far as that is concerned, but yeah, man, the Patriots move on, you know. God, I can't stand New England. I can't. Oh,
he's a Jets fan, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my God, it's just like, why? It's just like, why? Why? And again, and honestly, bro, you want another hot take, man? The AFC Championship game, it might come down to 2 AFC East teams, probably. Ooh. For them to go to the Super Bowl. That's seriously, I'm gonna watch it. I'm just gonna be like, freaking. It's like that Shannon. It's like I'm pointing to the Jets front office and I'm going. It's like that Shannon Sharp freaking meme going.
Right.
You see what's going on here? Like, this is what we've had to deal with for 15 years. Like, can we do something about it? Like, you know,
it is what it is.
As someone once famous sports radio host would say, "Oh, the pain."
Oh, the pain. Oh, the pain. Well, that is our wild card weekend wrap up. Stay tuned for the divisional round next week. Me and James will probably break that down too as well. We've got picks coming later on in the week for those games. But James, before you get out of here, can you talk about Ruthless Talk and how people can reach you on social media?
Yes, sir. So if you guys are professional wrestling fans out there, our professional wrestling content, that is Ruthless_Talk on Instagram and TikTok. We also have a YouTube channel, same name as the podcast, which is Ruthless Talk. Our sports content, it is Ruthless_Sports Corner. That is on Instagram and TikTok as well, posting daily, weekly content as far as baseball, football, basketball, you name it, all things sports. And because, yes, I'm a Jets fan, and yes, Brian is also my co-host, you know, shout out to my co-host, Brian. He's a Ravens fan. He'll give some Ravens, you know, analogy on certain things. Me, on the other hand, you know, Mets, Jets, Knicks, I'll give my analogy every once in a while, but pretty much it's all thing and everything as far as the sports world, as far as that platform is concerned. But hey, man, I appreciate you, man. I love being on here, man. It's great to shoot the shit with you as always. And one last thing, man, once again, shout out to Lynn Jones, man. I just want to give her once again another salute, man. I want to praise her for doing it her way and not following the formulatic, redundant, you know, system that everybody is supposed to follow. So shout out to her. As Frank Sinatra would say, she did it her way.
She did it her way. Well said. Well said. I need everybody to head over to Ruthless Talk on YouTube right now. Subscribe to their channel. Get them to 1,000 ASAP. Subscribe right now. But when it comes to the Holy Sports Podcast, we don't really have a schedule because there's been so much sports going on lately. I would just say cut on all notifications so you know when we're coming in to give breaking news, recaps of games like this, and when we will be covering wrestling. WWE's been difficult to cover, but you can always count us on Wednesdays, and if there's not a game, Saturday for Collision. But James, appreciate you as always. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of James from Ruthless Talk, it's your boy AB from DET, and you guys have been tuned in to the NFL Wild Card Weekend here on the Holy Shhh Sports Podcast. Peace.